Who doesn't like getting out of bounds? It's cool to see your favorite game from a new perspective, even if that perspective is legless Breen from Half-Life 2, or flying a truck at 3.5 times the speed of light in USA Truck Simulator. This game cost me $1 by the way, it's worth $50 in my heart. Halo has quite a lot of out of bounds areas, and today I'm going to show you guys some of those areas and fun things in and around them. Let's start with an easy one. All you need to do is play the mission Exodus on Rally Point Charlie with the bandana skull enabled. Have you ever seen these areas while you're flying to the last section of the level and thought, I want to be really bored there? Well, my good friend, we probably will be. Once you land, run past all the enemies in this section and make sure you have the jetpack. Then run to this area that is basically the opposite corner to where you start this section. You can jetpack to this little rock and slowly make your way out of bounds. There's actually no death timer unless you go really high up. There isn't much to do because of the excessive invisible walls, but you can fly around this area and walk through some of the props. Also, if you want to fall in the water, you can sort of fly hover, which is kind of just weird. If you ever wanted to ice skate on regular water, now you can. But who can settle for just these beta male water physics? I want access to that supreme Giga Chad lake void, and I know just where to get it. Oh hey, I'm currently attempting to drown my fish, but while I do that, let me tell you how you can go fishing in Halo. Sort of. In Halo 2, if you head to Delta Halo and play the mission until you blow up the first Wraith, then grab one of the ghosts from here or the later section if those ones are blown up. Then boost into this wall and up this path to get on top of the mountains. Head over to this side and ride down this path that I take. You can then just drive into the water. This is one of the deeper lakes in Halo 2. You can explore the skybox pretty much anywhere here, except if you get too close to the main path and go to the surface, you die. If you make a left instead of going into the lake and roll down the mountain, you will fall back in bounds. You can then beat the level like this and all the enemies will despawn, making me the first person to beat Delta Halo on Legendary while picking my nose and eating it. In fact, Halo 2 probably has the most out of bounds areas due to the game being pre-death timer. I'll talk about some of the cooler out of bounds areas, aka vacations, in Halo 2. Our first destination is Cairo Station. Play through the level until you reach this airlock. Jump onto the railing here, and once you reach the top, grenade jump here to bypass the level's boundaries. From here you can explore the In Amber Clad, the other outdoor section after the gondola, but there will be no enemies and you can't proceed. Outside of that, there isn't really much you can do here. Next up is Regret. Play through until you get to this outdoor section after the second underwater ride. Then clear out the enemies and you'll see this pelican fly down. Jump here and on top of the pelican. Then while it's flying up, jump onto this mountain and welcome to Hiking Simulator 2025, where you can explore the beauty of half-textured graphics from 2004, aka Nevada, and water. Lots of water. There isn't much to do here, and I tried to reach the Sea Temple, but the game unloads it, I think. Quarantine Zone is a level of all time. Once you load it, all you have to do is go back through the tunnel that you came from, then do some parkour to get onto this mountain. Now just walk up here and you are now on top of the skybox. You can go pretty far up here and gaze at the particularly beautiful skybox, but there's no hope for getting back in bounds. Honestly, looking at the pros and cons, it's a net positive. Also, you can see most of the level if you use the remastered graphics. The normal ones just show off the void, which is the case in Halo 2 and Combat Evolved. That was a lot of Halo 2, so let's switch to Galo Reach Around and the attack of a particularly armor-locky shaped ability. I've talked about using armor lock to bypass death barriers, however, I never actually talked about the specific setups. I would recommend turning on the Acrophobia and Bandana Skulls for pretty much all of these. Head to the Pillar of Autumn on Rally Point Bravo. The actual glitch is on Rally Point Charlie, but we spawn here for the armor lock that we get off spawn. Then play until the final section, and right off the bat, this phantom will come down. Get on top using Acrophobia and use the armor lock on top of this area so you stay on it. For some reason, the other spots will make you slip off. Now wait until you slip off and make sure to reset your momentum before you land, otherwise you die. Now once you've landed, fly up and over to this side and you can make your way around the death barrier and into the skybox. Here there is a war going on, but the only thing that has collision is the Scarabs. You can get very far outside here, but nothing else is really out here. Tip of the Spear is an interesting case. While it also has the endless nothing in the skybox, there are a few cool things out there. If you play through the level and get an armor lock from this area, then play until this area with the second AA gun, destroy it, then this phantom will spawn. Get on top of it and armor lock in the same spot as last time, and you will land out here on this ridge. You can now either visit where these ships are shooting or where the spires are out here. The ships that are shooting at the ground are actually shooting bullets that you can die to, which is pretty interesting since the explosions in the Pillar of Autumn skybox don't kill you. If you go to the other side, up and over the ridge, you can visit the spires that are in the background. Doing this made me have a revelation in that the UNSC lost to someone who can't make an energy shield that works. Long Night of Solace is another interesting one. You can use the Phantom Armor Lock glitch on the spirits if you activate Armor Lock right here. If you sprint through the first section, you can reach this Armor Lock and get a checkpoint with a spirit lowering inbounds right here. There are a few of them, but this one is the closest. As you are exiting the boundaries, you can see this spirit that they forgot to make shrink, so it just vanishes. You can actually see this from the window in the regular level. Anyways, once you are out of bounds, if you go below the sea level, you will die. So fly over to this mountain and you can land on an invisible platform over here. There are a few things to examine in this skybox. First off, below this mountain range, you can find the 2001 Monolith Stargate, aka a cube, and the two balls that make the reflections work, I think. Also, you can climb up this slope to reach the two AA guns that are the same ones as Exodus. The difference here is that if you fly up to these ones, it will prompt you to operate Warthog turret. You can't operate it though, but I'm sure it's just left over because they use the Warthog turret as a base for these. I also discovered that you can get run over by the Seraphs in the skybox. There are also some random props out in the void without collision, but other than that there isn't really much else. I only tested a few levels, but I'm sure there are more places where this glitch can work. All you really need is armor lock and a phantom or spirit that lowers inbound so you can get on top of it. Forge mode also has its fair share of out of bounds areas. The general way to get out of bounds in Forge mode is using teleporters. First, push your camera up against an invisible wall that doesn't have a death timer, then face the barrier and place a receiver node. It should spawn outside of the map. Push it out a bit and then make sure it's set to a unique channel. Then place a sender node in an easy to reach location and make sure it's on the same channel as the one out of bounds. Then go through the teleporter. Once again, this has very limited use, but I found a little area on the map Spire. I'm sure there are more. When you are in a map in Halo Reach, it will display where you are with some text in the bottom left. However, when you are out of bounds, in the corner of your screen it will display out of bounds in caps. But the out of bounds areas like this one on the Spire actually have a second out of bounds map area. It looks the same, but it is just not in caps lock. These areas do not trigger the death timer. If you saw my Halo Vehicles video, you know that you can get in a Phantom's turret and ride out of bounds in Halo 3. Mostly. Sometimes it just kills you. But did you know that this is also possible with Scarabs? The only problem is that there's only one time where it will actually get you out of bounds. All the other times the Scarabs get blown up. This is when you are leaving this little area on the mission The Ark. If you quickly acrophobia into this turret, you will get out of bounds. The Scarab falls through the map here, so you will want to get out while the Scarab is halfway through the ground, otherwise instant death awaits. If you get out, the Scarab will fall through and you will just be standing there. You can then fly all around the map, even to the top of the tower, and gaze upon all the very confused enemies. There are so many ways to get out of bounds that I wasn't able to talk about, like flood bumping, which is an entire rabbit hole, or any of the Halo 2 multiplayer maps, because those jumps required are very, very difficult. One last Forge glitch for you. Launch them at breakpoint and you'll see this Phantom hovering in the middle of the bridge. If you shoot rockets at it, eventually it will go completely invisible, except for the inside. It also lacks collision. This works on the one in Boneyard, but that one is more durable. Thank you for watching. Hey, this is post-editing Herm. Thank you so much for all the support on my last video. It has been unreal. And yeah, thank you.